princesses, wake up!
Guess what day it is?
Get up before I get you up!
Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Hump day.
Woo-hoo! This is Wednesday. She calls it over the hump day.
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Hump day Wednesday.
We ain't one at a time in here. They broadcast me out on the radio. We're mass communicating.
Let Wednesday begin!
Hit it!
You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack. And you may find yourself living in a shotgun shack. And you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large shotgun shack. And you may find yourself in a beautiful wife with a beautiful house. And you may ask yourself, well, hey,
And good morning, Ohio Valley. Well, that's a different version there. I think that's interesting. Like that. That's a variation on my theme song here. I'm Butch Maxwell. I'm sitting in for Howard Monroe today and tomorrow, at the very least. Right here on the morning show. Morning show with Howard Monroe. This is Butch Maxwell on the air and in the chair. And really kind of excited today. This just feels like a good day. How are you doing, Biff?
Not too bad this morning.
Yeah.
Hanging in there.
All right, yeah, not bad for a hump day. This is the 6th of January, otherwise known as the day of Epiphany in the Christian calendar. I guess this is the final day that you should have your lights up outside and stuff like that. I don't know. That's what I've been told by a lot of people who are just, you know, maybe a little reticent to take down those Christmas lights. After all, this is the darkest time of the year, and that's kind of why we do the lights. Well, all right, we do the lights more as a tradition of our, Christian tradition of celebrating the birth of Christ and all that. But this has also sort of become a secular tradition, or maybe it was the other way around, according to some historians. The Christian calendar basically just sort of brought in the Festival of Lights and then sort of the Druid celebrations were right around the time of the equinox. At any rate, whatever you believe, however you celebrate, I hope you're having a good morning so far. It's going to be kind of a dreary day, kind of the typical Ohio Valley midwinter day today. It's not going to get it's not going to be terribly cold, not going to be terribly warm, but it's going to be cloudy. It's just sort of belies my mood today. And why am I feeling good? Well, it comes down to Georgia. I think we are on the verge of some pretty good news, at least from my particular ideological perspective. It appears that the Reverend Raphael Warnock, who's the senior pastor of the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, was elected to the Senate on Tuesday. He would be the first black senator from the state of Georgia, and a repudiation of Republican Senator Kerry Loeffler, who was an extreme loyalist to President Donald Trump. So there is still one race that has not been called by most media outlets yet. That is that race against Republican David Perdue. He's the incumbent who's running against Democrat Jon Ossoff. It looks promising for Ossoff, but it's really a little too early to call right now. So what would this mean in general? Why should we care about these two senatorial races? Well, because the balance of power is in contention. We've got we will have, if Ossoff does become the second senator from Georgia, the Democrat, that would mean that we have a 50-50 tie in the Senate for control of the Senate. And when that happens, the vice president will break all ties, and the vice president would be now Senator Kamala Harris. She's actually, I guess she's former senator now. At any rate, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will break the ties, and it gives the Democratic Party a slight edge. Well, actually, a fairly significant one when you consider the formidable power of Mitch McConnell to block everything. I mean, everything, that the Democrats want to get accomplished.
And
yeah.
one little thing too, Butch, because when if you watched anything last night and they showed the map of the Senate,
Yeah.
and they have, however they do it with the big squares and whatever, and
Right, yeah.
they do them, it'd be like 50, 46, and 2, I guess, that are independent.
Right.
But what they'll tell you is, and they don't put it in, normally the 2 independents vote with the Democrats.
Yes, yeah.
So that's where when people look at that and they see that, and you say, well, where are you getting the 50-50
Right,
tie?
yeah.
The reason it'll be is because those 2 independents normally
They caucus
vote
with, they vote with, yes.
the Democrats. So that's why. So just add those 2
Right.
to the Democratic
Yeah.
category, and that's where you would get the 50-50 from if both of these. Well, actually, no, I guess if the one turns out into
Right.
for the Democrats.
For the Democrats,
So, yeah.
right. I know Bernie Sanders is one of those independents, and he can be counted on pretty particularly to vote with the Democrats. Maybe the one wild card among the Democrats is West Virginia's own Senator Joe Manchin, who tends to be a conservative Democrat, but he's fairly predictable to vote with the Democrats on many issues. I'm a little. Actually, I don't really, I don't really like the idea of celebrating this sort of extreme partisanship. I'm not a partisan, by the way. I know it sounds like it because I'm eager to see the Democrats regain control of the federal government, at least for a time. But ideally, I do believe in a strong two-party system. I'm not I'm an independent. I'm a registered independent. Although, if you've listened to me, you probably gathered that my politics are pretty similar to Howard's. I tend to be more what people call liberal. I prefer the word progressive, but whatever you want to call it. That's the way I tend to go. However, I come from a long line of Republicans. My dad, my mom, many members of my family, going back to the generation before my parents, were Republicans, and Republicans in an area where that was predominantly Democrat for many years. So I have a lot of sympathy for traditional Republicanism. However, I haven't really seen that in the past. I don't know, at least probably 15 years or so. I mean, really, since the election of Barack Obama, in my opinion, the Republicans have just sort of gone out of their minds. First, there was the Tea Party, and then the advent of Donald Trump, and all of those traditional, conservative values, for which I have a lot of respect, no longer became the forefront of Republican politics. What seemed to happen was they were subverted from the inside by extremists, and I hear a lot of Republicans say that the same thing has happened to the Democratic Party, but I haven't seen evidence of some of the extreme left wing being able to take over Democratic policy. I just don't think it's happened. After all, look at who was elected president. A moderate. I think he even once called himself an extreme moderate, which is kind of a bizarre oxymoron, I guess. It's hard to be an extreme moderate, but the evidence to me suggests pretty empirically that the Republican Party has not been a tempered, reasonable party in recent years. Now, they can come back. I hope they do. I hope with the repudiation of Donald Trump and his racist, sexist, xenophobic, nationalistic, quasi-fascistic sometimes qualities, and definitely his tendency to be a despot, to be to want to want unquestioned power. I hope this is a turn of the page where we'll see for a little while, at least for maybe the next couple of years, we'll see what the Democrats can do to sort of right the ship here, and then maybe in the next election cycle, I will feel a little more positive, perhaps, if I see the Republicans behaving themselves. Maybe I'll go back to where I would like to be, which is believing that we should have a kind of a split governmental control. I do think it's a good idea when we've got a competitive, legislature and an executive branch, and so we're going to see. But as I said, right now I'm feeling pretty happy about the way things look right now. So that's the top story. That's what we're going to be talking about for a little while today. But there's more going on too. We also want to talk about what's happening today too in Congress, because today is the day when Congress will officially certify the electoral college votes. We don't know what's going to happen, but we can speculate a little bit, and that's what we do in the media a lot is speculate. So we'll talk about that and offer some analysis along the way of what the implications are. What could this mean? Because this is one thing that we can do in talk radio a little better than you can with a simple with a straightforward news broadcast. Yes, there's always going to be opinion laced in with this, and but we believe that you're intelligent enough to be able to work that out too. Well, this is opinion, this is fact, etc. And I will try to also clue you in on that too. We do have some local COVID news too, and frankly, since it's local and it's important, I'm going to mention this in both hours today, because I think it's important to keep you updated on this, and this is another service that we can offer you with live and local radio. The Wheeling, Ohio County Health Department has announced that additional COVID-19 vaccine clinics for Ohio County residents, listen carefully, aged 80 years and older are going to be available. And they are available now, immediately. You have a friend, a relative, a neighbor, somebody who is of that age, 80 years or older. That's just a few months older than me. I'm kidding. But yeah, if you know anybody of that age, they can get the first round of the COVID-19 vaccine right now. Right now. Well, not this exact moment, but it will be open to the clinic will be open starting at 9 a.m. and will be open until 3:30 p.m. with appointments every 10 minutes. Now this will be, no, I'm sorry, I said right now. It's actually tomorrow, starting tomorrow, Thursday, January 7th is when they start. So, but they will go on. They will actually go on through the weekend. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, next Wednesday, and Thursday. So we've got like 9 days here that you can take yourself if you're 80, or your neighbor, or your family member, or your friend, etc., to get this important inoculation. Because COVID-19 is thought to be especially dangerous as we get older or have comorbidities. In other words, other reasons that our health might be compromised, then it's very important that we start with these older folks. So the clinics, where will they be held? At the Wheeling, Ohio County Health Department, and they are by appointment. You must make an appointment. So I'm going to give you that phone number. So if you want to jot this down, of course, you can always look it up. It's just the Wheeling, Ohio County Health Department. But that number is 304-234-3756. I'll give you that number again in case you don't have your pen and paper, but you are interested. Remember, that starts at 8:30. Okay, now I've got contradictory information. It appears that it is going to start today, Wednesday, January 6th. Yeah, okay. The news release I have here had an
Typo?
inconsistency. Yeah, well, it's kind of an inconsistency. There was a list of dates, and then it says it starts today. So, okay, I believe it does start today. You're going to find out for sure when you call. You can call at 8:30 a.m. If you want to today and get that appointment. The health department was allotted an additional 650 doses of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine to be administered on a first-come, first-served basis. Again, you need to call and make that appointment because they're going to do this in a way that it will be safe so that you don't have to stand in line for a very long time, especially somebody who's 80 years old. This is a good thing. So make that appointment and be on time. You don't need to arrive early. Just show up at your appointed time. It'll just take you a few minutes to get into the health department and get to the appropriate place. Again, that phone number is 304-234 3756. 3756. Now, you can call that anytime from 8:30 on and make that appointment. There are going to be limited supplies of the vaccine at first, so it's going to be distributed in phases based on risk. And this is kind of the first phase. It's we've got healthcare professionals that are being inoculated, but also first responders, people in long-term healthcare facilities, and educators are also considered part of this first phase, but and definitely people over the age of 80. This is it's quite important. I know, just on a personal note, I lost a neighbor who was over that age, who she had some pre-existing conditions too, but it's very sad. It's very real, and so please get that. You have anybody in your family who's over that age?
Well, we lost my grandmother in July.
Oh yeah.
So
Was it COVID related?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But same thing. I mean, she had other
She had other things.
another condition, and that's what caused it, and
Yeah.
that was back in July.
Yeah. Well, I'm so sorry.
So
That's-
that was on my mom's side, and then my dad's parents. I think they're of that age.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So-
it would be very good just to try to get them inoculated. I don't see here that there are any restrictions on residency or anything here, but you could. It's a simple phone call to the Ohio County Health Department should clear up any additional questions that you may have. It's at 304-234-3756. 3756. The Ohio County Health Department and other health departments all across West Virginia and Ohio and Pennsylvania have a plan, in various stages of working this out. But it's imperative to preserve critical infrastructure, such as making sure that our healthcare system can meet our state's needs. So people will have a lot of questions, and the health department is urging patients as soon as they receive more vaccine, then they'll complete this phase 1 and move forward with vaccinations for the general public. And again, probably, although this release doesn't say so, but I imagine that they're still going to be moving on to higher risk people, maybe people age 65 through 79 next, or I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this will work exactly, but that's most likely. That's the way other areas in the country have made their plans too. One other note on this before we take our first little break here is that the health department was alerted yesterday about a false mass text announcement concerning vaccines for persons 80 years and older. It just had some erroneous information in it. It may not have been anything nefarious. We don't know for sure, but if you receive that text, please notice that first of all, the text comes from an announcement that is not a 304 exchange. This did not originate from the health department. They have not sent out any mass texts or anything. And it suggests that people should just show up for a COVID-19 vaccination. The problem with this text is that you do need an appointment. It's false. You do need to make an appointment. And the reason is very simple. They don't want people to show up and wait in line, risk exposing other people, et cetera, et cetera. So please keep that in mind, that you need to call and make an appointment. And this is for anyone who is, if you're tuning in a little late, anyone who is 80 years and older, they can now get a COVID-19 vaccine simply by calling the health department, making an appointment, and then you can go to the health department and get that vaccine. And so one more time before we go to the news break, that phone number for the health department is 304-234-3756. They open at 8:30, so you can call them anytime after that. All right, when we get back here on the morning show with Howard Monroe, guest host Butch Maxwell, we're going to talk a little bit more about that race in Georgia. And later in the program, we'll also be talking about the implications of what's going on in Congress today as far as the certification of the vote and where we think this country is going in general. Along the way, I hope to do a little bit of trivia, a little bit of fun stuff. I'm only going to be here until 9 o'clock because this is the day for the West Virginia Legislative Update, one of my favorite programs. And so that'll begin at 9 o'clock. I'm looking forward to spending the next hour and a half with you. This is Butch Maxwell, guest hosting for Howard Monroe on the morning show right here on the Watchdog, and we'll be right back.
The WTRF Channel 7 News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Now it's time for your local news headlines from 7 News at WTRF, My Ohio Valley, and ABC Ohio Valley. Only on AM 1600 WKKX. The Watchdog.
Good Wednesday morning, Ohio Valley. I'm Stephen Ruffing with your 7 News headlines. Votes are still coming in after 2 Senate runoff races in Georgia, the latest from Washington, where the balance of power is still up for grabs. Republicans only need to fill 1 seat to take the majority. However, if Democrats win both races, they will take full control of Congress once President-elect Joe Biden takes office. And after months of remote learning with very mixed results, students across the Mountain State are also returning to the classroom. They are due back on January 19th. Ohio County Schools Superintendent Dr. Kim Miller says the school will continue to follow every single guideline. Dr. Miller says when it comes down to the most effective way of learning across the board, it's crucial for students to have face-to-face learning. She says some kids are falling behind because of the long stretch of remote learning, but some are doing very well. The Wetzel-Tyler County Health Department will begin taking appointments for their first round of vaccines this morning at 9 a.m. If you or a family member over the age of 80 wish to receive the vaccine, you can call 304-337-2001, extension 101. Belmont County is urging their residents to just be patient, and health officials want to assure them that they will be vaccinated once additional supplies arrive. They say they are beyond pleased to see that so many people want the vaccine, but they say the demand right now is far greater than the supply they have received. And now is a look at your headlines. Have a great day, everyone.
COVID-19 will keep Cleveland head coach Kevin Stefanski and at least 2 players out of the team's playoff game Sunday in Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, former Panther quarterback Alex Van Pelt will be calling a plays for the Cleveland Browns offense. Well, including the senior list, we're down to 18 finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Steelers' Alan Faneca made the first 15, while Bill Nunn was one of 3 senior finalists. Hines Ward, Mr. Ward, you'll have to wait another year. It's congratulations to Alabama wide receiver Devontae Smith. He won the Heisman Trophy, and he's the first wide receiver to win the award in 29 seasons. Wide receiver out of Michigan, Desmond Howard, won the award in 1991. An interesting hockey note, congratulations to the United States. They won the gold medal, upsetting Canada 2-0 to capture the title at the World Junior Hockey Championships. Hey, be safe out there. Be considerate of others. Check on the elderly. I'm Bill DeFabio on sports on AM 1600, and we are the Watchdog.
Millions plan for retirement online. Estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, and manage your benefits all from the comfort of your home. And give yourself the freedom to do what you want offline. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Oh, there's something so real about living local. And I know without a doubt I'm not alone. And I love living local. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Said I love living local. WTRF is working for me. The Ohio Valley is where I love to be.
Hello, I'm Chuck Reddick, Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service. We're working hard to get ready for tax filing season. You know who else is working hard? Identity thieves. Keep your computers and your mobile phones secure. Use antivirus software and strong passwords. Look out for email scams. Secure your home Wi-Fi with a password. Stay safe when you shop online. Look for HTTPS in the web address. See irs.gov for details.
From the Watchdog Network, right now traffic. Here's the latest from the Robinson Auto Group Traffic Center.
There are no traffic delays near the Highlands, on Washington Avenue, and on the Fort Henry Bridge. Traffic near the Ohio Valley Mall, on 70 and 470, and on State Route 7 is moving freely. The Market Street overpass width reduction will continue. I-70 construction will continue westbound where crossovers are in effect. And all existing detours and closures will continue for the I-70 Bridges project. Follow Ohio Valley Traffic Report on Facebook, WTRF 7 News, and the Watchdog for updates.
Hi, this is Hoppy Kercheval. West Virginia, in many ways, is a diverse state, often with different issues, challenges, and successes depending on where you live. But we're also a small state, and we're all connected by being West Virginians. Every day from 10:06 till noon, I talk about and provide insight into the events that shape who we are. My approach is tough but fair, and we may disagree, but together we'll stay abreast of what's going on in our great state. Successes, the hardships, the challenges, and of course the politics that contribute to making us who we are. So join me weekdays, 10:06 till noon for Metro News Talk Line.
Thank you for riding with the Watchdog. Live and local, just the way you like it. Give us a call and tell us what you're thinking. Locally, 304-214-1600. Out of the area, toll free, 866-514-1600 or 304-232-TALK.
Hi, this is Chris Lawrence from the Metro News News Team. I have all the important regional news throughout the morning right here on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe. Listen and stay informed right here.
All along the southbound Odyssey, the train pulls out at Kankakee and rolls along past houses, farms, and fields. Passing trains that have no name and freight yards full of old
like men, and the graveyards of the rusted automobiles. Good morning, America, how are you? Said, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done.
And good morning, Ohio Valley. Little Arlo Guthrie there to wake you up from way back in 1972. One of his, probably his only big hit. A lot of people of my approximate age and older embrace Alice's Restaurant. Have you ever heard that, Biff? Alice's Restaurant?
I have not.
It's a 20-minute long song by folk singer Arlo Guthrie, son of the legendary Woody Guthrie, and it's all about it's just a long story that happens to have happened on one Thanksgiving, in which Arlo and his friends, his hippie friends, were arrested for dumping trash over the side of a hill, and it gets all mixed up with the war in Vietnam. So it's actually a comedy piece, very funny. Alice's Restaurant. If you got about 20 minutes just to sit around and laugh, and that would be something you could do. I want to turn now to the phone lines where I've got Zach from WTRF on to tell us what's going on in the world of weather. What's going on, Zach?
Well, not much, Butch. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm having a good day. That's kind of why I wanted to play that song and just wish everybody a great good morning, because I'm feeling good today for a number of reasons.
Well, good. I am glad. I wish I could give you more reasons to be happy, but again, like I told you yesterday, the weather, it's kind of been one of those, we go to the weather, it's kind of dreary and gloomy, but one positive note, I was actually able, I had a few extra minutes this morning, so I actually did make a positive graphic, and let me tell you this. So we have 26 days till Groundhog Day.
Aha, okay.
39 days until Valentine's Day. Here's the kicker. 73 days till spring, so that's when that sun will finally return. And then, in my opinion, the unofficial start to summer, Memorial Day is 145 days away.
Wow. Okay, that's that's great. Thanks for doing the math for us, Zach. It's another talent you had that I wasn't aware of before.
Oh yeah, well, I have many hats.
Well, that's good. And I imagine there'll be some sunshine sometime, even though you might not see it for the next 10 days or so. Sometime we're going to have sunshine again, right?
Yeah, it looks like we could see that finally returning on Saturday and Sunday, where partly cloudy, if not broken cloud coverage is expected. Again, much of the same today and through Friday. So not too much to talk about, just gray and dreary. Again, maybe like glimmers or like flickers of sunshine. You look up like, whoa, what was that? Oh, it was the sun. Oh, okay, it scared me. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, Sunday is shaping up to be the best looking day in the foreseeable future, just with the sunshine finally returning to the Ohio Valley. But we're going to continue on the trend of temperatures hovering in that mid to upper 30 range. Even into all of next week is shaping up to be much of the same.
So at least we've got predictability here. There's that. And you know what? Cloudy days are good for exterior shooting. I'm sure your photographers could tell you that. So
Oh yeah.
There are ways to position this, and we'll just I'll tell you what. We're just at the risk of being too Pollyanna. Let's just say we'll keep that sunshine in our hearts.
I like that.
All right. Hey, Zach, thank you so much. I appreciate it for checking in, and I'll look forward to speaking with you tomorrow.
All right, sounds good, Butch. Have a
Okay.
good rest of your day. You too, Beth.
Thanks.
Thanks, you too.
All right, Zach from WTRF, our partners in weather and news here at the Watchdog Network. We had an election yesterday. The outcome is not entirely clear, but it appears that Reverend Raphael Warnock, who is a Democrat and the senior pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, was elected yesterday to be the first black senator from Georgia ever. And this could be seen as a repudiation of Republican Senator Carrie Loeffler, who was a major supporter of President Donald Trump. The other senatorial seat has still not been called by the major news outlets. So we're going to see. Right now, it looks as if Democrat John Ossoff may beat Republican Senator David Perdue, but that's not entirely clear yet. And of course, as I mentioned in the last half hour, this is the implications are pretty significant because if both Democrats win their seats in the state of Georgia, then the control of Congress at large goes to the Democrats. So we will have, as of January 20th, a Democratic president, vice president, and a House the Democrat, and depending on how this turns out today, and I imagine we're going to find out today, we could have a Democratic Senate too. Part of what might have happened here is that Donald Trump's ongoing onslaught against Republican officials in charge of the election down in Georgia pressured the two GOP senators to make a choice, either to join the president in seeking to overturn the Democratic outcome of that election in November, or risk losing Trump supporters, some of whom have become disenchanted with the electoral process. This is really unfortunate too, because I can't recall any time in my lifetime where a prominent politician tried to delegitimize a democratic election. Trump actually called, we talked about this at length yesterday, the Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, on a private call, urging him to find enough votes to reverse the results. With these sort of two disparate messages going on, the election was rigged, yet get out and vote. It's no wonder that some people with Republican leanings in Georgia may have felt as though, what's the use? Why should I get out and vote? After all, we lost the presidency in November, or probably in their minds, the presidency was stolen from us in November. Therefore, why should we participate in this sham of a system? Which is, again, a very, very unfortunate perspective, because the elections were free and fair according to according to experts all over the country. Nobody has really said that there's been any evidence at all of election fraud. In fact, there have been more than 30 court cases that the Trump administration has taken up, and they've lost every single one. They've either lost it or the court refused to even hear it because there wasn't sufficient evidence. This is an ongoing thing, but part of the argument, and this is the crux of what we've got in public policy is argument. There's nothing wrong with argument. Argument is good. So let's examine the arguments just a little bit. Senator Perdue, the incumbent Republican in Georgia, his closing message in a recent video was littered with attacks saying that if Republicans lose, undocumented immigrants will vote, Americans' private health insurance will be taken away, and Democrats will pack the Supreme Court and defund the police. So there's 4 points there. That immigrants, undocumented immigrants will vote, Americans' private health insurance will be taken away, the Supreme Court will be packed, and they're going to defund the police. So, but the Democratic candidates said really what they were saying was they want to demilitarize rather than defund the police. That as far as undocumented immigrants go, it's not that they want to have them all voting or anything, but they want to supply them a legal pathway for becoming citizens. And what they actually support is a public option to decrease the number of uninsured. This doesn't mean that we're going to eliminate private health insurance. Even if you look, this is such a ridiculous argument, but my daughter lives in England, and there they have something called the national health, And she had to have a major surgery over there. She actually has a supplementary health insurance. So she has the national health insurance, which covers your sort of basic needs, so people don't just die over stuff. However, this kind of a surgery was only partially covered by the national health, and so she supplemented it. Actually, got expedited. She got her surgery a bit sooner because she had private health insurance. You have employer-based health insurance, even when we've got so-called socialized medicine. So this is simply a fear tactic, saying, "Oh, they're going to take away your health insurance." No, Biden has not said that. He's never said that. He said he just wants a public option. So fear not, people. This is not going to happen. You're not going to take away your health insurance. Now, you could make an argument that with the public option, that's going to decrease the number of people who buy health insurance. That may be the case, but we've got our economy has changed a lot since I entered the economy. When I entered the economy as working, I got health insurance through my employer, and that was fine. You know what? I haven't worked full time in about 10 years. I don't have any health insurance from an employer. I was on the ACA for a little while, too. Fortunately, now I've got private health insurance again, but that's just because I married somebody who has private health insurance, and that wasn't the reason I married her, but it was a nice benefit. I won't deny that. But this is what we call a gig economy now. There are a lot of people who actually work full-time and don't have health insurance. People need to have health insurance, and especially right now with the coronavirus killing people at the rate of 1 every 30 seconds in America. To debate at all about whether there is a need for some kind of a public policy to make sure that people don't die simply because they can't afford health insurance. I don't see why there's even an argument. I know why there's an argument, but the argument is that are presented really are so fallacious that it's incredible to me that we're still having this argument. You got thoughts on this, Biff?
I'm gonna go back to the Senate races real quick.
Yeah.
How long until the recount?
Till the recount.
Because you look at the percentages and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be so close. I think we're going to see a recount.
Yeah, I do too. Recounts rarely matter as far as changing the outcome of anything. If they have an occasion in very small races and incredibly close races, but when the differences are in thousands of votes, then yeah, there probably is going to be a recount. That's a really good point. But it's going to amount to pretty much the same thing again, I think. So we'll see. But yeah, that's an excellent point. So we'll have to see how that works out.
Yeah, and then with healthcare and every people just I don't know. It's almost like you don't know. What do you do? How do you figure it out? Is it for some is it too confusing to read and do whatever, and that's why you see people that for whatever reason they just don't have it.
Yeah,
and and it's weird to figure out. It's one of those things. You would think it would be not easy, but almost something we could solve and come up with, but every time around the election time, and even you see it's one of the top issues that seems to be debated, and unfortunately we just for whatever reason can't come up with a solution.
Yeah, it seems to me too. There's a fundamental question about whether health care should be considered to be a right, or if that's just getting access to health care is a privilege. And one thing I've noticed over the past 10 or 12 years or so is that increasingly I think Americans are beginning to see health care as a right. And once we position it that way, then the debate, the arguments against some kind of a public option really lose a lot of weight. So we're going to see. In this Georgia election, this was the most expensive ever senatorial election. About $520 million were spent just in advertising in the two runoff races, which averaged more than $8 million a day. And Republicans did outspend Democrats by tens of millions of dollars. So, once again, kind of proving that, money in politics, it's dangerous. It can definitely influence an election, but it isn't the final word on it. You can spend less and sometimes prevail anyway. And money seems to be also one of the other big issues in this race too, because there's this $2,000 stimulus check that people would like to get. Now, President Trump did endorse the idea of that, but Republicans themselves have not gotten behind the $2,000 stimulus check. So that may have also been something that figured into this. In other national news, stuff that's happening today is that, yes, in Congress, they're going to meet today to count the electoral votes. This is generally considered to be just a sort of a ceremonial thing. But President Donald Trump has been urging Vice President Mike Pence, who will be officiating this, to block the certification of President-elect Joe Biden. But apparently Pence yesterday gently informed Trump during a meeting that the power doesn't exist for him to derail the process. He can't do it. What we expect to happen today is that a large number of Republicans in both the House and the Senate are going to object. Now, what happens when that goes on is when there's an objection, then they go back into meetings, and then they have discussion. Other Republicans may sign on or not, or other senators or House members may sign on to the objection or not, and then it comes back out to the floor again. What we kind of expect is that this is going to just slow down the process. It's not going to change the outcome at all.
It'll be early.
You think it'll be early?
It'll be the third state in.
The third state in. Oh, yeah, as far as the objections
yeah,
go.
Oh, yeah, when they get to Arizona, because I believe Ted Cruz is going to be the one that's going to object to Arizona.
Yes.
So Alabama will be okay. Alaska will be okay.
And then
whatever time they get to Arizona, that's when we're going to start.
Yep. And
Yep.
this will be televised, I'm sure, on C-SPAN. If you really want to watch, it should be a long, to most people, probably a boring process. But if you're kind of a news nerd, you might be interested in watching this process. It's certainly relatively unprecedented, at least in the 20th and 21st century. Most of the precedents for these sorts of things happened in the 19th century when we had more contentious elections. However, we never had a president who refused the outcome of an election when the Electoral College and the popular vote were so clearly outlined. So, as I said yesterday, we live in interesting times, and one of the more troubling things about this is the effect that Donald Trump, the lame duck president, has had on influencing people, because what we're beginning to see now are protests, which is fine. People have a right to protest. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are also implications of some of these protesters like to carry their guns, and so there are gun-free zones. And then you've got the wild card of kind of fringe groups like the Proud Boys getting involved in this. And these are all things that I want to cover in the next hour of our time here together on Howard Monroe's Morning Show right here on the Watchdog. I'm Butch Maxwell. It's my privilege once again to be here. I'm talking with you on this Wednesday, this hump day, this day of Epiphany. And I look forward to continuing the conversation for one more hour right here on the Watchdog Network. And we'll see you right after these messages.
On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Democrats inching closer to securing control of the U.S. Senate. They won one of the Georgia runoff elections, and the other is too close to call, but the votes appear to be in their favor. First up, the Reverend Raphael Warnock is the projected winner over Republican incumbent Kelly Loeffler. Warnock telling Good Morning America minutes ago the pandemic should be the country's #1 priority.
We need a national strategy that takes this virus seriously, that gets the vaccine distributed safely and efficiently. We've got to reopen our economy, get our kids safely back to school, and we've got to make sure that people know that they will have their health care, particularly in the middle of a pandemic.
Democrat John Ossoff leads the other Republican incumbent, David Perdue, in the second Georgia Senate race. Here's ABC News Chief National Affairs Correspondent Tom Yamas.
If Democrats are able to win that other Senate race, it would be tied 50-50. So who's the tiebreaker? Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. She's a Democrat, of course. That would mean the Democrats have the majority in the Senate.
Protesters gathered in Washington, D.C. ahead of today's joint session of Congress in which the House and Senate will certify Joe Biden's election win in the Electoral College.
President Trump today delivers remarks before supporters at a rally just blocks from the White House. Around 30,000 people are expected at the event, including members of right-wing extremist groups like the Proud Boys. The president on Twitter last month predicted the rally would be, quote, wild. The pro-Trump rally is taking place on the same day that Congress meets to ratify the Electoral College results and Joe Biden's victory. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington. 20 million people were supposed to have received the first COVID vaccine by now. Instead, only about 5 million have. The White House Coronavirus Task Force recommending to states not to delay the immunization of people over age 65.
I just couldn't really agree more. I think something that they said was that vaccines shouldn't be in freezers, they should be in arms.
Stanford Medical Emergency Room physician Dr. Ryan Rivera. You're listening to ABC News.
What can help you take advantage of today's low mortgage rates and save money? Rocket can. You could save hundreds of dollars every month by refinancing with Rocket Mortgage at today's near historic low rates. If your current rate is over 4%, with today's low rates, you could lower your payment by over $150 a month, saving thousands in interest every year. With a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, you could consolidate and pay off high-interest debt, tackle home improvements that could add value to your home, or even set aside cash for your child's future education.